He eventually makes his way over to a stand and dumps the entire contents of his money pouch on the counter and begins counting for a purchase. Unbeknownst to him, however, Roshner bets all the money the soldier just dumped. The merchant is busy slithering away one coin after the other. The smile, however, slowly fades. Most of the soldiers that journey here are not as stupid as this one. Sure, they drink, but they know their limits. Besides, from what Rossner hears, every visit they make, they carry precious cargo for the High King himself. So it is not surprising that they claim the largest part of the harbor. Doing so also grants them control over the main road, since most of it opens to that part of the water. They have barred off so much of the road near the harbor that the merchants barely have enough room to squeeze two carts up and down a path between the soldiers' barricade and a row of thick shrubs and rocks. Further into the village, merchants and travelers alike find the road widens a stride or two and stays that way as it travels inland. Most stop there and carry on their way, but there is a third dock, this one tucked away and partially hidden from the rest. It can only be accessed by a small path hidden behind the thick brush near the edge of the snake's den, but where it is and what that path consists of, Rossner does not know. All he knows is that it is built into the face of the cliff right below the castle. Old, worn piers bounce on the waves leading to a tavern set in the rock. There have been days where he has been tempted to investigate, but talk of the pirates and mercenaries and bounty hunters that take rest at the tavern there turn him away without fail. Behind Rossner, a door creaks open. He watches as Casper and his mother both carry out a crate of meat. The giant man has hands the size of Rossner's face, and Rossner is convinced his gut hides a small animal, like a newborn sheep. Strikes of white hair mingle with a thick black mop on his head that part around a surprisingly sharp face. "Thank you again, Bendra," Casper says to Rossner's mother. "I cannot think of anyone who does not appreciate what you do. It makes it easier on all of us." Rossner's mother nods. "So long as it helps keep my family alive, I am happy to assist." Casper returns the nod. Just before they set off, he calls to Rossner. "Be seeing you after you return, right, boy?" Rossner looks at the man and returns a smile. "That we will, Casper. You have no worries." Casper snorts and heads back inside. His peg leg strikes the porch with a dull thud every other step until he disappears inside. After their encounter with Casper, Rossner's mother directs them to a side road near the village's boundary, not too far inland. After a few jokes and a couple of laughs, they stop at her winery. A few crates later, they pick up grain, then flour, beans, potatoes, herbs, and several other items. Before long, they are back on the main road. After traversing a small hill, the two mares pulled the cart past the blacksmith. Thick black smoke rises from the chimney of the small wood and stone building. The occasional ring of the hammer pounding on a new sword resonates from within. Once the blacksmith is a small distance behind them, they take the left side of a fork across a planked bridge spanning Silver Creek. As they cross, the life-giver has nearly seated her throne. Waves of heat descend on Rossner and his mother, causing both to sweat. Rossner looks up at the sky and shades his eyes with his hand, watching the ascent. They set camp as the life-giver kisses the horizon. Next day is the same. On the third, right about halfway through the day, the two trot into the town of Venick de Mai. Rossner takes it to be more like a city, even though he has none to compare it to. The one thing he does understand is that it is big, much larger than Tichthrm. Without his mother, he knows he would get lost just turning a corner. As soon as the two enter the town, the road gradually slopes downward, leading to its namesake. The Venick de Mai, or Lake of Wonder, is what started the town, from Rossner's understanding. People say the water is magical, but to him it is just water that is clearer than glass, and just as reflective when the life-giver's light strikes it. He has heard some say something, or someone, must awaken the magic within the water. Others have claimed it is not the water that is magical, but what lies within it. Rosner cannot see any of it being true. They are just stories and fantasy tales to make their town seem special. Still, he cannot help but be mesmerized by it. His mother pulls on the reins, bringing his gaze back to town. In front of them is a tavern and inn called Wonder's Greetings. His mother climbs out and walks inside while Rosner stays to watch over the goods. Unlike the name suggests, the building is more of a turnoff for Rosner. The wood frame is worn and rotten. The porch pitches away from the building at a slight angle. Plus, all the windows are smeared, like someone did not really want to wash them, so they put their fingerprints all over them instead. The only thing that looks nice is the sign. Gold letters printed on a light green background. After looking at the sign, Rosner glances back at the rest of the building. Is that the color the rest of the building is supposed to be? Because to him, it looked more like week-old vomit after someone ate green algae. As usual, a few seconds later, his mother walks out with the owner. As his gaze follows them to the back of the cart, he cannot help but think if they were in a more heavily populated area, he would not be able to stop anyone from grabbing what they want. All they would have to do is push him to the side. Rosner's mother calls his name, tearing him from his thoughts. Free from the what-ifs, he climbs to the back of the cart while they talk and searches for a crate labeled Wonder's Greetings. When he finds it, Rosner hands it to the man, who takes it and nods at Rosner. He thanks his mother and heads back inside. The next several stops follow the same trend. As the life giver hovers halfway through her descent, the two pull up to one of their last stops. Rosner's mother pulls the reins, and the familiar jerky stop vibrates through Rosner's body. Before his mother climbs out, she turns to him with a smile. Almost done, she promises. Rosner nods. He climbs into the back and waits. The kid, who has witnessed Morris once more than Rosner, and twice the size, comes out and meets him in the back. I'm grabbing stuff for my father. His voice sounds surprisingly rough for his age. It sends a chill down Rosner's back, but he refuses to show it. Instead, Rosner looks up the name and hands the kid a crate of bread and wine. Once he is alone, Rosner looks back and lets out a satisfied sigh. Only one more stop, he mutters aloud. Curious, he peers down at the name and frowns. Who's this? Hey! Rosner whips around. It is the boy again. Painful silence passes between them. The boy looks mad, and it gets worse by the second, but Rosner has already given what his father ordered. What? The boy said, finally breaking the silence. You going to stare at me like an idiot, or am I going to get the last crate? This catches Rosner's attention. Hold on, Rosner says with more vigor than he expects. He knows this kid does not have any more because he just looked at the same name on the last two. Let me check. Rosner acts like he scans the card and remaining crates. Nope, you got everything. The kid shakes his head. No, I have seen my father's orders. I need another crate of bread. Despite the situation, Rosner resists a laugh. No, you do not. Am I going to have to grab it myself? The boy threatens. Rosner's eyes narrow. That is not happening. The boy starts up the back of the cart. Caught off guard, Rosner does the first thing that comes to mind. Stand in front of him. The boy does not bat an eye. He reaches up, grabs Rosner, and tries to throw him to the side. Rosner manages to hold his ground for a few tugs, but his hands slip off the side of the cart and he goes tumbling over the kid's head. He lands on his back and casts up a cloud of dust which encompasses him. He tries to recover from the wind being knocked out of him, but instead sends himself into a tearful coughing fit. At this moment, both his mother and the kid's father wander outside. What in the seven realms is going on here? Rosner's mother demands. This little weasel. Watch it, boy, the man interrupts, and get down from there. Through tear-filled eyes, Rosner notices the boy wants to argue, but a hard look from his father tells him to listen without question. After the boy lets out a growl, he surrenders and climbs down. Once on the ground, the kid spits his mind before he could be told otherwise. They refuse to give up the last crate. His father raises an eyebrow. What in... Boy, we have what we need. The boy and his father continue to bicker while Rosner's mother tends to him. Are you all right? Rosner nods. Just some dirt in my eyes, but I'm fine, he tells her through shallow coughs. He looks him over once more, then helps Rosner up and tells him to get back in the cart. As he does so, the boy storms into the building. Rosner's mother turns her attention to the boy's father. Daite, his mother warns, if this happens again, you will have to find another way to get your goods. Benja, please, Daite begs, both palms up in surrender. I will talk to my son. I or someone else will take care of handling things from now on. We will see. Without looking back, Rosner's mother takes her spot at the reins and takes them away. After a moment, his mother asks, So, who do we have left? He shrugs and looks back at one of the two crates. Not sure. I have never seen the name before. Rosner tilts his head. Naklion? Rosner's mother nods. Ah, yes. I received a notice about them. Moved here not too long ago. They are not much further. A few minutes later, they stop again. The small wooden house sits on the outskirts of town. Large trees dot the grass around it, creating a sense of peace and seclusion from the world. While his mother retrieves someone to take the crates, Rosner sits in the back of the cart, dangling his feet off the end. His eyes drift back to the lake. The near-perfect bowl reminds him of a pot, one a cook brews stew in. Only this cook would have to be a god. He watches the life-giver's light reflect in random harmony across the surface of the water, captivating him. A faint breeze brushes against his arm. Beautiful, is it not? Rosner's eyes widen as he stifles a yelp, pressing himself to the wall of the cart. What he first takes to be a talking snake ready to kill him is instead a girl about his age. When did you get here? He demands. Amused, the girl smiles and tells him, Since just after your ma walked into the house. Rosner blinks as he tries to recall the past few minutes. When nothing of her comes up, he asks her, Your speech? Yeah. She hides her face behind a curtain of dirty blonde hair. Before it is shielded away, he manages to make out a faint redness in her cheeks. I cannot help but elongate my S's a little or lift the corner of my mouth when I say them. After a silent moment, she apologizes. Surprised by the comment and her embarrassment, Rosner shakes his head. Why are you sorry? You cannot help it. He pauses, then adds with a smile. Besides, I think it is kind of cool. The girl looks at him, surprise glistening in her forest green eyes. He holds the gaze and sticks out a hand. Name is Rosner. After a moment of hesitation, she smiles and slides her small, smooth hand into his, sending a wave of warmth through him. Ilsa.